I'll tell you the reason why your marriage is not a blissful marriage. I will also tell you the reason why you are scared that if you finally get married, you may not have the opportunity to enjoy your marriage. If, number one, you don't have any contact, you don't have any interaction, you're not in deep devotion, you are not committed to God, your marriage cannot find happiness. I will explain this clearly to you. Getting married requires wisdom. Getting married requires knowledge. Getting married requires obeying instruction. Getting married requires understanding the situation. Let me explain it from wisdom. You don't become a father because you are a man. You don't become a husband because you are a man. You don't see it as, man, I can actually get married now. I've gotten money, I've gotten this, and I'm a man. Okay, I'm now a man, so I can actually go get married. No, it doesn't work that way. You must have to begin at some point to go through basic things that you should learn. Now that I'm a man and I now have money, and I'm wishing to get married. Do I have what it takes to get married? What it takes to get married is not the house that you rented or that you built. It's not the car that your wife would love to cruise in the front of it. It's not also the money that you can actually give the in-laws and the rest of them. No. What it takes to get married, first of all, is patience. Number two, what it takes to get married, apart from patience, is communion with the things that you cannot understand. There are times when something might happen in your life and you cannot understand what it is, you cannot understand what is going, but your ability to remain patient and observe what is happening will prepare you for marriage. What it takes for you to know that you are already getting to the point whereby you can actually see yourself as men and can then actually go and marry after patience and communion with the things that you cannot understand. You need to start understanding yourself. Who am I? What temperament do I possess? What are my potentials? How do I react to situations? How do I allow situations affect me? How do I make friends? What kind of friends do I make? And apart from what kind of friends do I make, do I trust my friends more than I can trust myself? Do I give more listening ears to people out there more than I give more listening ears to myself? All of these things are things you must have to put into consideration by asking yourself those questions and then knowing if you're ready to get married. The second part of it is knowledge. It requires knowledge to get married. How? After you must have acquired all it takes for wisdom. If you do not if you do not know God, you cannot understand your wife. Let me explain that to you. We cannot see God, but God is a being that is taking care of every situation in this world because the earth is in his hands. He knows what is happening, when it's going to happen, with the method or the model it is going to take place. And for the fact that we already know that we cannot see him and is in charge of every situation, and then we are devoted to him, we are working for him, we are serving him, we are loving him because we know that God is, and he is the rewarder of them that diligently do what? Seek him. It will give us the opportunity to understand and know the person that we can now see. If I can know and understand God that I cannot see, when my wife comes in, there are things that would happen. But for the fact that I already know her potential, I already know her temperament, I already know how she reacts to things, I already know how she wants things to be done, I already know how she goes about things, and I have exercised patience that when something happens, she may not want to talk about it. I know that she does not want to talk about it. All I've got to do is that, babe, I know this is a situation. I don't know what is exactly going through your mind. I know that you do not want to talk about all of these things, but I want you to understand. I'll be lying close to you on this bed. I know you're on the other part of the bed, but when you finally want to talk, I might already be asleep. Just wake me up. I need to understand my love. Make it that way. I need you to understand my sweetheart. I need you to understand, oh, my everything. I need you to understand my person that No matter what happens in this world, it is me and it is you. We are in this together. No matter what it is that you are going through, it is me and it's you. Because remember, God made commitment. He made commitment. He promised, or He gave us promises. He told us a whole lot of things. And all of these things that He has told us is to give us hope, to give us trust in Him. So all of these things that you're not telling your wife is to give your wife hope, to give her trust. And for the fact that you already know God, you already know the ways of God, you already know the words of God, you already know the acts of God, you can actually find yourself in the position whereby you can actually know your wife, see what she's going through, explain what she's going through, and make her understand that no matter what happens, man, I'm down for you. The next in line is obeying instructions. We men, we love to dish out instructions. You'll be dishing it out like we're dishing out dinner, dishing out breakfast, dishing out lunch. Oh, they are very beautiful. But do you know that it will get to a point where your wife would be like, I don't like this woman coming to your office. Stop talking to her. You might look at your wife and be like, are you mad? You may not even get mad. But inside of your heart, you're asking her, are you mad? Can't you see that I have nothing to do with this woman? That she's just a client? Can't you see that this woman is coming to buy from me? It's very beautiful that she buys from you. But for the fact that your wife has looked at that woman and she's like, I don't like that woman, desist from that. Give that woman some space. Stop interacting with that woman. What most times, what your wife sees in another woman, you cannot see it. Even if the woman was a book that you would have to read, you will never see it, because they see things differently than we see things. They take their time to assess things differently, just the way they can understand and the way they can relate it to us. But most of the times, they may not relate it just perfectly well to us. But if you have the time to give in to understanding that this woman is my partner in this journey of life, and if she has looked at that person and she has seen that this person has the capability of stopping my journey to my very beautiful destination, let me stop talking to the woman that she has asked me to talk to. Obeying it, just obey her. After you forbid her, you come home and be like, babe, you see that woman? The moment you told me to stop talking to her, I stopped talking to her. I stopped. Come, baby, you, come. What happened now? Tell me now. Just tell me. And she'll be like, no, just don't want to be like, look, princess, I don't want no problem, but just tell me. This love and marriage thing is a beautiful thing, but love becomes beautiful, enjoyable, and pleasant when you know your wife and your wife knows you. When the two of you, your husband and the wife, knows God. If you don't know God, you cannot know your wife. If you don't know and obey the instructions that God has given you, you cannot obey the instructions of your husband. If you don't read your Bible and see what the Lord has told you about everything in His word, you don't understand His word, you don't go through His word, and you don't, even if you've gone through His word and maybe you finally understood His word, but then you refuse to obey His instructions, there is no way you have a happy marriage. The last on the list is understanding. See, in understanding, there is something about this understanding part of it. Some men don't respond to the bad thing, so to say, bad things, so to be called, the bad things their wives did to them. So when their wife does something wrong, they keep quiet. They don't talk. They're waiting for the day they will retaliate. Most times, they don't have plans of retaliating. They are just angry. They are mad. The thing annoys them. But they be like, I will not respond to this woman. I will not talk to this woman. In fact, I will deal with her with silence. At the end of the day, it is not understanding. Because the silence that you're giving to your wife is giving you ulcer. The silence that you're giving to your wife is giving you heart attack. The silence that you're giving to your wife is taking away your peace. It's taking away your joy. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? Silence because of revenge. Silence because you want to deal with her. It is not understanding. Just know it and know peace. Let me explain what understanding is to you. Understanding, let me start from the Bible. Understanding is when you bring the Bible. You read a Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Look at understanding. Oh, whosoever believeth in him. Oh, I will have to believe in him so that I will have everlasting life. Therefore, if I do not believe in him, I will not have everlasting life. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to arise and then understand that I must have to take a step towards believing in him so that I'll have everlasting life. You will not go down on your knees, because he said that when you come with a contrite and a broken heart, he will not cast you away. Oh Lord, look at what your word has said. Please do not cast me away. Forgive me and give me everlasting life. And when he must have given you everlasting life, you don't go back to the things that you did that took everlasting life away from you. That is understanding. Understanding is, man, look at what your wife has told you. Look at what your wife has done. Let me say, she might have spoken to you in a very bad way. And you'd be like, oh, why did you talk to me that way, babe? And she'd be like, I will do it again, again, and again. I am paying the rent in this house. I'm feeding you. I am feeding our kids. I bought you clothes. I did this, I did that. No props. Relax. After you've relaxed, look at yourself. Ask yourself some questions. What should I do to get my respect back in this home? Go to work. No matter the work, go out. Go and work. Bring something home. Buy bread. Buy breakfast. Buy something good. And maybe you might have money. You might just be wealthy. But something happened someday that does not usually happen. And maybe she didn't serve your food right. Or maybe she didn't come to hug you just like the wives of your friends. We are hugging them in the gathering of your friends or people in your so to be believed, organization. And she came, hello, good afternoon. She sat down. Other people came, they hugged, they did all sorts of things, and you didn't like it. And you be like, when we get home, we'll fix it once and for all. Man, when you get home, call her. Woman, can you come? Can you sit down? She would sit down. And you'd be like, something happened today. I didn't like what happened. Be honest. I didn't like what happened. Don't try to meander word or cut corners with your words. Babe, I didn't like what happened. Could you tell me why did it happen? And she would be like, I'm tired now. I need to go and rest. You go pain you. You go vex you. That is why I'm talking about God. If you know God, your patience level will be way too high. The reason why you're being patient with her is not because she is the one involved, that if you don't exercise patience, something might happen or something may not happen. Or if you exercise patience, it will look like you're a fool. No. The reason why you're being patient with her is because God was patient with you while you were a sinner and still gave his son for you when you are still a sinner. And when you came back to yourself and you came now and be like, God, I'm sorry for all the things I've done, he still accepted you back. The reason why we are being patient with people was because God exercised the highest level of patience towards man. My guy, have wisdom, knowledge, obey instruction, and have deeper understanding of God, his word. You can actually get to the point where you will have a blissful home, and your home in future will be the best perfect home.